a group of people that have jumped the gun. So CoreLogic RP data has basically said that July, there's more stock this July than there's been pretty much any other July in the last 5 years, right? But don't forget, we're going off a low base, right? But we have got more stock in July, and I can put that down to a bunch of vendors who know take advantage of a low stock environment, right? And how do I know this? Because I have pre-auction meetings with the vendors. I don't see them personally, but I have them on the phone. And when I ask the vendors, oh, what's your understanding of the current market? These vendors tell me, oh, we know that rates have gone up and we know there's negativity about inflation, but we also know that there's no stock on the market, so this is going to still get the same price. And that's not right. It's not going to get the same price. It's selling for lower. What you should be saying, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, is thankfully there's not a lot of stock on the market and my property is going to sell. It's not going to sell at the same price it would have when the market was hot, but it hasn't fallen off the cliff, the mortgage cliff that everyone's talking about. But that remains to be seen. That remains to be seen now, right? And I had a very smart vendor that said to me, I know I would have got more money if I sold 6 months ago, but I'm also very mindful that I'm getting a lot more money now than what I think I will be getting in 3 months' time. So there is a bunch of vendors that have come in earlier than that they would have, probably by around 4 to 5 or 6 weeks, right? But regardless, there's still a bunch of other people that they say, no, I'm selling in spring. My garden looks good then. That's when I'm geared up for doing it. I want to sell in spring. We sell in spring. We'll settle before Christmas. That's my timeline. And that is when I think everyone's going to be on. That's when everyone's going to be on. And that is going to really tell us where we're really at, What do you do right now let's look about if you're a buyer or a seller. If you're a buyer and you haven't found something, don't panic. Wait till there's more stock. But if you are a buyer and you want this specific property, go for it, man. I'm telling you, you're marrying the property. You only date interest rates. If you're a seller, what do you do now? I think you try and get a buyer in August. I really do. I think you try and get a buyer in August. And if you're paranoid that you haven't got a property to go to, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. What you want to do is put yourself in a position where you're not under pressure. Put a long settlement in your contract. Normal settlements are around 5-6 weeks. Put in 12 weeks in your contract. And that way you sell. You then got time to find a place. And not only that, when you buy, you're a cash buyer because you've sold. You can actually say to people, this is my offer, take it or leave it. I'm walking. That's what you can do when you're not under pressure. I had a couple of people say to me today, vendors, when they were giving me the reserves, oh, well, things are going to be a lot better now that we've got a new Reserve Bank governor. Well, I don't think you're going to expect, my rants about Dr. Lowe hasn't been about him lifting the interest rates as much as him actually giving guidance to people 2-3 years ago. That was my issue. I don't hold the guy responsible for inflationary pressures around the world, even though I've been told overnight that in the USA they've got inflation down at 3%. Now, I'm not quite sure of that, whether that's the true. Yes, David, I'm telling it as it is. And I've got to tell you, today's prices, again, I'm not going to turn around and say they're great prices. And I'm sick and tired of real estate agents who are hitting me up, telling me, oh, we love your content, we follow everything that you do, but you've been a bit negative the last 4 or 5 weeks. How am I negative when I just say the damn truth? Like, what do you want to do? Do you want the whole real estate industry in Australia, the 60,000 or the 50,000 that are left in Australia, to all say the market's fantastic, the market's booming? What do you want to do? Well, you want to give the Reserve Bank another reason to actually keep pushing the rates up because they got the whole real estate industry saying, oh, the market's fine. But it's not fine. It's far from fine. As I said to you, the last few weeks, There have been properties that have been selling lower than what owners have paid for them, right? And you're going to see more of that. You're going to see more of that. How sad is it? How sad the story overnight with a guy in Brisbane. Look, obviously he's got a predisposition to some mental health issues. You know, you don't go off and suicide and blow your house up because your loan repayments have doubled or tripled, and you're ashamed. And you know, he did make some posts prior to blowing up his house. For those of you that don't know the story, a guy in Brisbane blew himself up, blew the house up because he was suffering from mortgage stress and couldn't afford it. Now, I hope anyone that's listening to my content, I've got to tell you, there's a million other things that you can do apart from suicide. So don't even let that be an option. Let me see what some of these comments coming in. Was he under control by the government, Tom? William Kearns, let's talk about, is he under control by the government? We're talking about the Reserve Bank guy. Well, of course, mate, they get appointed. They get appointed.
Right onto Lane Cove Road.
They get appointed by the government. They get their contracts either redone by the government. Yes, the boss is Chambers, the treasurer, right? Yes, I know they're supposed to be independent, but the bottom line is the hiring and firing is done by the government, which is a Labor government. Okay? Is he under instructions from the government? No, but let's face it, there's influence. I can tell you 100%. You watch the Labor government when they're getting ready for the next election. I guarantee you, they're not going to be telling the Reserve Bank to be putting rates up then. Nah. They're going to do a renovation on the economy so it looks really good for 4 to 6 weeks to get voted in again. That's life. That's how it works. Just like you renovate a house to put it on the market, you renovate the economy to actually win an election. Anyway, team, that's the story. And welcome back to everyone that's coming back from overseas. A lot of people have been on breaks, Bali, Europe, ducked away from the cold. Many of them are returning back. School holidays is finished. We're back to a straight 10, 12-week period, I think, till the October long weekend. And I can't wait till this cold is over. Anyway, team, signing off.